Flosstube. Hi, it's Lisa coming to you from the wet and soggy Pacific Northwest. It is Saturday evening, pretty late, Saturday night actually, um, November 5th, 2022, and it's been a little while. I'm trying to shoot for once a month, not always hitting that. But anyway, hi, welcome to my channel. Thank you for watching. This is my video channel, Creaky Geekery, where I geek out about all the crafty things that I do, and pretty much, well, it has been pretty much all cross stitch all the time. I've slipped a little into crochet this last month or so. It's been fun. So yeah, I've got some FFOs to show you. I've got some progress on at least one whip, a couple of new starts, and yeah, a little bit. Just so thanks for watching, thanks for being here, and let's kind of get into things. Life update, I did kind of miss the last month. I kind of disappeared from Instagram and from Flosstube. I'm still catching up on people's Flosstubes. Yeah, I think, I have a new psychiatrist, and I really like her. When I first talked to her, she was kind of like, I don't know about ADHD. It's overdiagnosed. And I was just like, you're not taking my ADHD meds from me. They have made such a difference in my life. And after talking to me for 10 minutes, she's like, oh, no, 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 no. You have severe ADHD. And it's amazing you've gotten as far as you've gotten. Anyway, so she's been, we're adjusting the ADHD medication. And then we're also, she's thinks that I was diagnosed bipolar 30 years ago, but she's pretty sure it's seasonal affective disorder, so we're changing out the antidepressant I've been taking. I had to go off it, and now we're putting me on a different one. And so, to be honest, this is part of why I avoided talking to the psychiatrists for most of my life, because I had an antidepressant that did what this psychiatrist says, and I get it, was doing a half-assed job treating both the things I was dealing with. Anyway, so I didn't want to talk, but it worked, right? And I had enough. I could cope. It wasn't necessarily thriving, but I could get by. And that's one of her points. She's like, we under-medicate depression because we're so used to struggling so much with depression that once we get to a point where we can, we get the medication and we're okay. And we can do it, and we have the symptoms, but we can manage. She's like, we stop treating, and we need to treat for the elimination of symptoms as much as possible. So I thought that was a really interesting take. Anyway, I think she, out of all of them, has figured it out. I have seasonal affective disorder pretty badly, and I also have severe ADHD, and so we're trying to get the medication doses straight, and it just kind of messes up my process. It changes things, and there's an adjustment period, and I don't know that I lost a month. I just kind of checked out of life. I did go to some events. One of them I planned. I had to go. I was the one opening the building. It's one of those things where when you set it up 2 months prior, it sounds like a really good idea, and then the day of the event, you're just like, why did I do this to myself? It was fun, though. It was actually really fun. But, I just really didn't go anywhere or do anything with anybody for a while, and I was having some trouble hyper-focusing. That was one thing. I was hyper-focusing in the evenings, and yeah, so that's why I've been gone. But wasn't dire. It just was an adjustment time. So I didn't get a lot of cross-stitch done last month. I did get some, and I've gotten a lot done the last few days, so I'll show you that. But I do have FFOs. Let's see we're not quite 5 minutes in, and I'm moving into the stitching. We're doing all right here. And as far as the mental health stuff goes, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I want to normalize this. I'm 58, and I was just diagnosed with ADHD this year. I've lost so much of my life because people didn't think that women could have ADHD. It was the little boy disease, right? And it wasn't this and didn't do that, and I did well in school, so therefore I didn't have ADHD. And it's just like, we don't talk enough about this, and I want to normalize it. Don't need to do details, don't need to traumatize people, but we need to normalize mental health you know, and one of my very good friends asked me, they're like, well, you don't mind taking the drugs? And I was kind of like, no, I don't mind because I like being functional. And then later it occurred to me, you probably would never ask a diabetic if they minded taking insulin. Why am I being asked if I mind taking the drugs that make my brain work? So anyway, off the soapbox. There's plenty of that going around. Elections are scary. So, cross stitch. Hi, we're here for the crafty, creaky, geekery thingies. I showed you, I think last time I was here, I had finished the stitching on my Scotland by Tiny Modernist. I don't have the pattern, but anyway, I framed it. I'm not 100% satisfied with the frame, but I was looking for just the perfect frame. I wanted, you know, the absolute perfect frame, and I don't know, I just had in mind something different. I couldn't find anything. I went to 3 Goodwills and then to one of our locally owned craft chain has frames usually for a pretty good price. I went there and went to Michael's. Couldn't find anything, so I just went back to one of the ones I'd gotten at Goodwill. So it's all right. It's not perfect, but it's all right. It actually, sometimes it looks centered when I look at it, and sometimes it doesn't. But it's framed. It hangs up on the wall near my Portland one that I did. I'm very happy with it. So, yay, it's done. This may just be the year of the small finishes. Although, I will have stockings hopefully next time. Actually, that's one thing I have discovered about Flosstube is it actually helps me get things done, because I want to get up here and I want to show you the things I've finished. I want to show you things I've done, and I don't want to just get up here and, oh yeah, well, you know, I don't really have anything to show. So it actually motivates me, which is good. Thank you, all of you. I also did the Satsuma Street Night Owl. This is a Halloween pattern from Satsuma Street. I bought the kit. It's worked on perforated paper. We all know I don't like perforated paper. I just don't like the way they look when they're done. I don't like the way it feels in my hands when I work on it. Although it's not to say I'll never work on it, but I just would rather if I can find something else, I will try. So this is 36 count barnwood by Picture This Plus. I used the kit colors and the yarn provided. You're supposed to fill in the moon behind the owl so that the little gold beads for the stars show up, but I liked the way the barnwood kind of looked almost like a slightly cloudy night, you know, like with those little wispy veils of clouds and stuff, and a really bright moon and everything. So I didn't fill that in, and then that was this dark gray color that's on the owl was supposed to be, I don't know if you can, it's a little darker in here. I'm not used to filming at night, and my ring light tends to reflect on my glasses, and so I don't like to get it too close, but you can see a little better if I put it here maybe. And then I'll just look like a monster, right? Sorry, I hit the camera. I'm making everything bounce. Anyway, that's too bright. That's like bleaching it out. All right, we'll just put that over there. Anyway, so I filled in, instead of filling in with the dark gray, I put the dark gray here. And this would have been black. That's what the pattern provided. That's what the kit provided, was black. And I decided, since I wasn't filling in I just decided the black was too dark to go with it if I didn't fill that in. So I switched that out. And then this is just a somewhere between a 3 and 4 tube. I don't remember. I bought a bunch of them when I was making the Christmas ornaments last year. So, and I painted it black. And I actually bought a gloss that was supposed to make it iridescent and kind of metallic looking, but I don't think that translated very well. Yeah, see, even with the little ring light, it doesn't. So, oh well, but it's all done, and I just put it in the hoop, sewed a little flannel on the back. So I have another Halloween ornament. Yay! That was fun. So, and the beads are a little big for the 36 count. I didn't think to switch them out, but I don't mind. I like it. So those are my 2 cross stitch FFOs. I'm really happy. I got sidetracked into crochet. I picked up crochet because I wanted to learn to make amigurumi, because if you've watched me at all, you know I love my dwarves. I'm a sci-fi fantasy geek. I've been in love with the dwarves from The Hobbit. See Thorin back there on his throne, big poster. I have another big Hobbit movie poster in another room. I've got Thorin as the king of coins in tarot card in this picture. That one that's all glared out, you can't see, is Thranduil, king of swords. Oh yeah, this is the Rocinante. Nitya, that's my Rocinante picture. Anyway, So I wanted to, people have made amigurumi Company of Thorn Oak and Shield, and I thought that's really cool, and plus I just like amigurumi, so I had kind of gotten into amigurumi a little bit, but I haven't done a whole lot with it. But then my spawn posted a picture of this pattern about a week before Halloween, and I just was like, oh yeah, okay, no, I must have it. So I got the pattern, really well written pattern. I was very, very pleased with the pattern, but it was not easy. But I got her done. So this is my little Halloween gnome, amigurumi. She's not perfect. One of her braids is significantly longer than the other, but under the hat, no one can tell. So I finished her up, and it was a challenge. The shoes were really hard. It was a lot of shaping, and I'm not used to doing that. I think I prefer knitting in general, but crochet is fun for shaping things. I also signed up for, with a friend of mine, a crochet Afghan club where you get, every month you get a new box of yarn and part of the pattern, and you build out into a full-size Afghan. Although I may have planned it wrong, because I think I'm going to be hitting the full-size Afghan when summer gets here. I was like, I should have started it at the beginning of the year, so I'd be hitting the full-size Afghan at Christmas. But anyway, so I have that going. And then I also, because I used to love candy corn, can't eat it anymore, I made myself a couple little candy corn ornaments. Aren't they cute? Oop. I don't know that the googly eyes are going. Okay, I think I'm going to have to do something different. But anyway, I didn't have any safety eyes that they put in, and so I need to get some. But yeah, so I made my little candy corns. So those were my other finished objects for the week, and I'm very happy with them. I've got a couple friends who want their own little witchy gnomes, and so I'm going to be making those, and I have a couple of other ideas. So that's always nice. Amigurumi, though, my hands hurt more. It hurts my hands. This isn't from the amigurumi. What's this from? I forgot what I did. Anyway, I didn't notice until, I think I cut it on some scissors when I was doing some cross stitch, and I looked down and there was blood on the thread, and I was like, oh, go fix that. Anyway, amigurumi and crochet kind of hurts my hands, and but it's a nice switch sometimes. Okay, so whips. I have progress, big progress actually, on my main whip, which, as most of you know, if you're new here you don't, but those of you who've been watching, I'm a fairly monogamous stitcher. I tend not to have a lot of projects. See the ADHD referenced earlier. I have a lot of patterns, but if I get too many projects going, I get overwhelmed and I can't work on them. But that may be changing as we get the medication doses correctly. That'll be cool. Anyway, I've been working on this one since last year. Mirabilia Christmas Elf Fairy. I keep trying to call it the Christmas Fairy Elf, but it's the Christmas Elf Fairy. And it was a kit. Came with Classic Colorworks threads. Came with Classic Colorworks threads. And so that's what I've been using. But I am not working it on the fabric that was provided. I had purchased this fabric and decided to use it. And I don't have anything that I can really put behind it, so I'll just use my bag. And look! I have done all the cross stitch. I just finished it tonight. Finished up the last little bits of the wing, and then the white in here. And then the rest of this is going to be the whisper, which I have figured out how to work with better. My local cross stitch store had some good advice for me on how to do it. And then she just basically said use short threads. That's what you have to do. You have to use short threads. So that's what all of this will be. And then up here's some more. And then there's beading, a lot of beading to do. So I will have that done. The fabric is, the fabric is Fabric Flare. I believe it's called Snowflake. It's a printed pattern. And then I'll put it into a stocking. And I have my fabric picked out for the stocking. I have a really pretty kind of periwinkle purpley satin with a red cross-shot warp. Yeah, weft. A red cross-shot weft. So it's kind of shimmery red and purple. And I think it'll work really well with this. Hopefully the fabric store, we have a locally owned fabric store too. We used to have two of them, and then Fabric Depot went away. But anyway, so the locally owned fabric store tends to carry a lot of high-end fabrics, a lot of silks and satins, and they have the expensive velvets. And they have these really expensive velvets that will completely change color like this when you brush your hand on them. And I've seen those. So I know a lot of people, or at least some people I've seen stitch this took out the pink because they just felt like it didn't work, but I've seen the velvet and it is gorgeous. I didn't though, so when I'd done the other variegated threads I've used, or the overdyed, so that they have the variegated, you know, slightly variegated color, I've gone like up and down diagonally and stitched in spirals and whatnot to try and keep from having it be striped. And this time it takes a lot of time. So I just thought, I'm just going to stitch across and see what it looks like. Well, I think it worked all right here. This doesn't look bad, but I didn't like it, just made it look clumpy here in the pink, and I just really didn't like it. And that is part of the reason I didn't stitch on it for a while, was I realized I just was really unhappy with how it looked, and I wasn't sure how to fix it. And then I was at, beginning of last month, I did make it out to the twice a month, they have stitching nights at the local store. Although if we don't get more people coming, I don't know if they're going to keep going, because for some reason, people quit coming in the fall. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, I was there and I was complaining about it, and Janine looks at me and she goes, well, have you tried stitching it up and down instead of across? And I'm like, that might work. So I went home and I frogged about half of the pink in the middle and all of this pink and about a little bit of that. And then this one I went ahead and stitched all the way back up and down. And then this one I did about half of it. And then I just decided it looked okay that way. I like it. So that made all the difference on this one. So I'm really happy. It's going to be done. I can make my stockings, and that will be the last of my obligatory stitching for a while. So these are because I had made years ago when the Spawn were little, and I had made a cross-stitch stocking for everybody. And so everybody in the family had cross-stitch stockings except for the 3 new additions. And I made the Grand Spawn one last Christmas, and so this Christmas I'm making one for the 2, for my son's partner and then the other son's fiance. So that's what these will be. I'm going to do machine embroidery probably for the names on the stockings. So yeah, I just need to fill in, there is some outlining, back stitching, fill in the whisper, which I'll probably be cursing, and do some beading, and then I can actually sit down and make stockings. Yay! I'm excited. It's going to be done. So that's pretty cool. I don't want to put it. I have over here. Okay, break for a moment for technical difficulties. And just basically me realizing I was using the camera in the computer instead of the webcam that I have, and it's a lot harder to turn and show you my little pile of sewing over here that I have, my holiday sewing pile, so we'll just skip that part. But I do have stockings made. So that was my major whip progress, and now we're gonna go, I have 2 new starts. One thing I've discovered, just looking at the patterns I bought, is I evidently have a thing for chubby birds. I didn't know this about myself, but I do. I've collected so many chubby bird patterns. Actually, and I have the chubby bird pattern from Acorns and Threads. It was an exclusive design. I gotta quit hitting my computer. It was an exclusive design for them, and so I picked that up a while ago. But they also had this one stitched up as a kit in their front display case, and I just loved it. And so I finally picked up the pattern, and it's a little start. It would be more, except I wasn't paying attention, and I started stitching this, and when I looked at the pattern, one of the colors is 3371, which is, you know, the dark brown, almost black substitute. And I started stitching with that, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, that's really dark. And I'm looking at the picture going, that doesn't look right. Oh, it's not right. So I had to frog everything I'd done that night. So I took out, I had quite a bit of the little tail, the feathers and the tail done, and I had to frog it. But it's in the right color now, and I'm going, stitching it with the called for, it's called for DMC. I'm stitching it with the called for DMC, and this is 36 count eucalyptus. I don't remember who the manufacturer is. It's what I used for my polar pack when I did that, and I really like this color. So that's what I'm working it on, and so I'm excited about that. A little bit of just basic color block stitching. And then the other one I started is my where's the pattern? Oh, you know how it is. You have everything stacked neatly, and then it all disappears. Abominable Bundle. And I picked this up as part of my Year of Bears. I know it's not a bear, but that's okay. Yeah. So I've started the trees. You can't really see them. It's a little, again, it's a little dark in here. Don't like filming at night. I like filming in the day when I've got daylight coming through the window here. Anyway, so I've got a little bit of the trees started, and this one's using mostly overdyed flosses. What overdyed I could get, I did when I ordered the fabric, but I am so sorry, I just keep bumping this. So I am using some overdyed floss, but the white, I have a whole bunch of white. I had bought the little black DMC 10 that had a lot of white and gray and black in it. And so I have so much DMC white, I just can't see buying anymore. And like I said, some of the overdyed flosses, they didn't have the color in stock when I bought that. And so I'm using the DMC for those. And the overdyeds are nice, but they're spendy. And I'm doing small projects, and so there's a part of me that's like, I mean, you can see the variegation a little bit more in this one with some of the colors. Like that tree, you can really see the variegation in that tree. But sometimes I just feel like I'm doing small projects. Why am I buying all this really expensive floss when I have all this DMC? And DMC is color fast. And I like to wash my stuff when I'm done. And that's got me rethinking, that whole washing thing's got me rethinking using some hand-dyed fabrics and overdyed floss, because I like to be able to clean my stuff when I'm done. So anyway, excuse me for a moment. Why does your nose always itch when you're on camera? All right, so that's whips. One whip, 2 new starts. Little bit of stuff going on. I have some haul. I didn't get a lot at first, and then I went into the cross stitch night at the shop last weekend and bought a few more patterns. But one of the things I did get, I bought one of these. It's the Kay's Creations lap stand, and I've been thinking about getting one for a while, but I just wasn't sure. I just kept looking at going, really? It sits in your lap? It doesn't just tip over? But Jessie over at Bobo Stitches had gotten one, and she really liked it and gave a really good review of it. And I looked at a couple of others, and so I decided to bite the bullet and get one. I'm really glad I did. I like it a lot. I'm not using it with the smaller projects as much, although I may try. But I'm definitely using it with the Christmas elf fairy. And I like it. I've done a little bit of two-handed stitching, but not a lot. But yeah, so I'm really excited about that. Other haul, I bought some more patterns because we all know I like my patterns. I don't know why this is like in the wrong place this time. Miriam at Marroomy Crafts did she's done 2 more gorgeous patterns. Gorgeous sampler with some Farsi lettering on it and a lot of different rug bands and stuff. The one I absolutely fell in love with was this one. Sepideh. I think I'm saying that right. Sepideh. Means the light. It's a girl's name. It means the light that breaks at dawn. And she did this in honor of the protests going on in Iran right now, and all the women that are standing up and demanding their rights. And isn't she just beautiful? And there's a lot of symbolism in it. Miriam has a video that explains all the symbolism, and I highly recommend watching it. It's really cool. I'll put a link down below. And I actually ordered fabric for this tonight. I ordered a opalescent blue dyed fabric from Mystic Fabric, so I think it'll be really cool when it gets here. So I've got that one. I participated in their fundraisers for Pakistan, and in Miriam's and Nitya's over at David Stitchery, I participated in their fundraisers for Pakistan and for missing and murdered Indigenous women, and so this pattern was part of that. And I got this Balochi moons, which are really cool. I just love these patterns. I've done some of this in tablet weaving, and we called it a kivrim pattern, kind of this, or a ram's horn pattern, and it's just really, I just really love these motifs. So I've got this one. I don't have it printed out, but I also want a copy of a modern folk embroidery pattern, and I'm really excited about that. So I have to print it out and figure out what I'm going to do with it. I picked up this one as part of one of the fundraisers. There's some good in this world, although I'm going to add Tolkien's name because I kind of feel like if you're quoting Tolkien, you should put his name on it. And then the patterns I picked up the other night, I got, well, more chubby birds because I like my chubby birds. I just really like these patterns. They're really cute. And I bought the goat load because I like the goats, and I actually have family members who like the goats. And then I picked up this one. I think the only ones of these I have not bought. I didn't buy the swans. I didn't really care for that. I didn't like the eagle. I haven't bought the red shafted flicker yet. I need to get that one. I think that's the only one I don't have that I still want. And then the reindeer's coming out. But I live in the Beaver state. I have to get this one, right? I just really love this. It's so cute. So eventually I'll get around to stitching them. And then I also picked up this Nora Corbett. She's so pretty. Kind of Art Deco, Art Nouveau look. I just really, really like her. I don't like the fabrics that Nora stitches on. I just feel like her fabrics they blend with the colors instead of making them pop, feels like, if that makes sense. So when I get around to that one, I'll probably do a different fabric. I want to get, there's been a stitch along, again, Nithya and Mariam have started it, Bella Fillapina stitch along, and a lot of people are doing, is it Lakapati, the goddess? I feel a little weird about stitching her as a goddess from another culture. I don't know, it just has a weird spiritualist, and I don't have my own personal pantheon. I kind of, if I worship a god, I worship the universe. Who knows? Anyway, I have my own cobbled together spirituality, but it just feels a little weird. She's beautiful. I love her, but I would just feel uncomfortable stitching her and putting her on my wall. Part of that too is because middle-aged white woman, U.S., American, is stitching a goddess from a different culture, a culture that's been very marginalized in my country, and putting it on, anyway, it just created weird vibes, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I do like the two moon and dawn, the moon goddess and the dawn goddess, but they're both stitched on dark fabric, and I am not loving the dark fabric that my galactic galliard is on. So I've been calling it Mystic, but it's actually Picture This Plus Phantom. I'm not loving it, and I'm not stitching anything on dark fabric again until that's done. Just no. And so, but I do really like Sol Tropicana. And so I think I'm going to order the Sol Tropicana and add her to my list of, ever-growing list of, I'm going to stitch this someday. So that's that. I kitted a couple of things. I did the winter bear, so I also picked up the winter owl. There's a winter rabbit or a winter hare. I don't like it. It has a sweater on. I just don't like it. But this one I thought would be really fun. And I'm going to stitch it on, did I bring the fabric in? I did. I bought this fabric. This is from To Die For Fabrics on Etsy. And this is what I stitched my winter bear on. So I thought it'd be cool if I stitched the owl on it. I think the owl will look really neat. And then I just bought all the called for floss and beads and whatnot. And then here they didn't have the water lilies I needed, the color in Karen water lilies the day I was shopping. So I picked up a Dinky Dyes to replace it. So I think it'll be all right. So I have that one kitted. And then back in September, when I just was like, I'm going to be done with that Christmas elf fairy and start something new. Yeah, delusions of grandeur. But if you're going to have delusions, you may as well have the really big ones. Or how does Marcus put it? You may as well go for the really grand delusions. Anyway, so I kitted this up as well. And I think I'm going to wind up stitching this on eucalyptus, the same fabric I'm doing for the winter bird. I just really like that color, and I think it would look really neat with this one. So I have this one kitted up and ready to go. So that's kind of, I've got these things kitted. These may wind up being just Christmas stitches, and then we were talking at Stitch Night about having something that's seasonal that you just stitch during the season. And that may be what I wind up doing with these if I don't finish them, is I'll just put them away, and then next Christmas I'll pull them out and stitch on them. And I think that might be fun, because I have other things I want to get onto. I want to finish my Galactic Galliard. That's my once I get my Christmas elf fairy done, that's my big focus. I want to finish that one. And then I've got a lot of things kitted. I've got my prehistoric animals. I've got some Joan Elliott's out of one of her books, Mother Moon, and some Christmassy stuff from there. I've got a whole bunch of little birds and other kits, and I have a lot of stuff to stitch. And I have Sepideh, I think Sepideh. Trying to, trying to say it correctly. I don't know that I'm succeeding. Anyway, and I want to do that one. So always things to stitch. Lots of fun things to stitch. So we'll see. And then I have my Christmas sewing and some other things I want to do, and crochet and some tatting, and just all the crafty things. It's like I told my new boss, well, she's been here about 6 months now, but anyway, she started back in April, and we were doing a get to know you thing, and I'm like, I work to support my hobbies. That's why I'm here. So good thing I don't have designs on upper management, huh? Yeah, no, I'd never make it. Don't want to. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything. There's not much of a real life update. We did sew in, and it was a lot of fun. It was a good night, and heading into holiday season, it's going to be, I don't even want to think about next week. Yeah. Oh, it's probably my privilege that I can even say that. Yeah. But, you donate money, you write letters, you do what you can, and then you vote. And we vote by mail. We have voted by mail for 20 years, I think. It's been great. I love it. I sit down, fill out my ballot, and go drop it off. Or I can mail it in. I dropped mine off, though. There's a ballot. They put the secure locked ballot drop boxes out and about. And I just, people that have to cheat and take away the opportunity to vote to win, hopefully someday it comes back to bite them in the butt. Who knows? Bite them in the ass. Okay. This was supposed to be happy. Let's be happy. I hope you're all well, and I hope those of you who celebrate Diwali and Dia de los Muertos, those holidays were good holidays for you. People had fun with Halloween. We're coming up on other holidays, the only ones I can think of off the top of my head. Eid, I think. And then I know Hanukkah and Solstice, Yule, Christmas are all coming up. We don't really celebrate Thanksgiving. I mean, we like to yes, we're grateful and we appreciate giving, but there's just so much associated with our Thanksgiving holiday that we just kind of don't do a whole lot for it. Friendsgiving might be the only thing we'll do. I'm not sure, but yeah. So, plans, get a lot of stitching done. That's my plan. We'll find out what I got done when I come back next month. So, all right, take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.